Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court Podcast host Cortez Paul, along with my co-host Kevin Carter. I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ball Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here. Got Mr. Paul Mack joining me. And a guest today, Mr. John Z. John, how's it going, sir?
Another beautiful Tuesday night in Orlando.
Yeah, man. I know last time I tried to get you on the podcast, but I think you said you had like a softball tournament going on or something like that.
Yeah, I normally do softball with my friends and my roommate on Tuesdays, but we weren't too good this year, so kind of missed out on the postseason stuff. I suck at softball too, so I definitely didn't help that out, but definitely didn't bring home the trophy this year.
I was about to ask, are you good? But you just answered the question.
No. I watch baseball and stuff. I love watching baseball, but that is definitely not my forte in sports. Mm-hmm. I can put the ball in the hoop. That's about it.
I don't think people realize how difficult softball actually is.
Oh, it's
like I think that's the thing. It's like, oh, softball, slow pitch. I can crank it all. No. Don't work that way. Don't work that way.
Definitely not.
I mean, heavier ball too. So I mean, you really can't. It's a different type of sport. I haven't played in a while, but I remember growing up playing it. I was like, okay, that's what I thought too. And ignorant me, well, this ain't.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing because I live in Orlando now, so I've been eyeballing like leagues to join next year. So I'm looking for some kind of fun to get into.
John,
hey man, I'll hook you up. We do a co-ed league.
That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
There you go. See, now we done start a beautiful friendship of softball between Paul and John. So hopefully I get to hear some stories behind the podcast in the future.
Can we go have a catch after this is over?
Nice. Paul, how you doing, sir? Everything's good?
I'm good, man. Still on the holiday work schedule, so my schedule changed a little bit. I actually just got home like not even an hour ago, so I'm still in my work clothes, but hey, it's fine. We're double dipping. So from one job to another, man.
Hasn't retail been fun? Has it always been in the busiest part of the year? I can definitely relate to what you're going through.
I mean, it's good to be busy, I guess. You know, good to be working, but it definitely feels different than the last couple of holiday seasons coming out of the whole COVID thing.
Well, let me just tell you a little quick funny story with me going on. Literally about 2:00 and I get a call, and luckily I'm up in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning, and apparently the building lost power. So I guess there was a line down about a mile away from the facility, and they're like, okay, we're gonna halt alterations, and the power should be back up within 2 hours. No, it didn't come back on till 8:00 in the morning, so they had to cancel all the loads, all the packages. So as Walmart, we like to make the promise. We did not make the promise that night. I'm sorry, customer. So if you didn't get your air fryer until 2 days later because we had power outages in Lakeland. So
so that's why my air fryer was late.
Exactly. So but literally luckily I was up, and then one of my coworkers one of my associates tried to call me again, and by that time 5:00 I'm asleep. So I'm not up around 5:00 in the morning, but I'm literally up around 2, probably just playing Xbox or watching something on YouTube. But But yeah, it's fun getting calls as a safety manager and 2:00 in the morning. Hey, power went now. What do we do? Open the book and rely on EP11, Emergency Procedure 11. It deals with allergies. It tells you what to do. I don't have the book in front of me, so you got to refer to that. I'm not an encyclopedia.
You are the book, my friend.
You got this. I believe in you. I don't want to drive 30 minutes up to work because y'all don't know how to read the procedure. Nah. And then my associates watch the podcast and yell at me for putting them on the spot. I'm sorry, guys. I owe y'all chili.
You should give the Patriots that book on EP11 because they had blackout too.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Oh, I'm sure you are, Judd. I'm
sure you're enjoying it. 24 years of my life. So the last 2 years have been pretty good.
I'm sure you're enjoying the Buffalo Bills losing right now. I'm sure you enjoy the Jets imploding. We'll get into mine, but I know you're excited about it. But hey, how you feeling, man? You feeling good right now, right?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, I still haven't seen a playoff win in my lifetime, so that's the next step eventually. But right now, you know, I'm looking to get that division locked down so I can get my shirt and my hat and stuff and rock out with that and possibly go see a playoff game down there in Miami Gardens soon.
There you go. Now, Paul, it's been a year for Mr. John over here. He's also a Baltimore Orioles fan, too. I know they call it a hot Texas Ranger team, but then the Dolphins are looking good. His Magic is looking good. Orlando City's looking good. It's been a good sports year for John.
That is very weird to hear that said about all those teams for me.
Exactly.
We still got a lot. We still got a lot to see. Like you were saying a couple weeks back. The next stretch for the Magic's going to be big. I'm interested to see how they go the next month or so through this month into January.
Oh yeah.
Well, before we get into football, we was crushed as Magic fans. I saw our 9-game winning streak. It ends at 9. We was hoping that this young fantastic team was gonna get to 10. But somehow Brooklyn just got our number. Or they lucky that Jonathan Isaac didn't play that night. I don't know. But
hey, that pilot poster was pretty nice, though.
Yeah. But don't it hit different when we're up?
Yeah, it does. I saw him do that, and he was talking. I'm going, we're down 23.
I know. I was like, he could point and say scoreboard, but I guess that's the guy that gave him a blackout last time, so Paulo felt some type of way.
It's a good little nod to tying the franchise record in the streak and just be going, on to the next one.
Yeah, well, hey, we got them in February. They got to come down to Amway in February and March, so we'll make sure that they know that we down here.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Definitely. All right, let's get into it, guys. NFL Week 13. The Eagles and 49ers. Man, what a stinker, huh? The 49ers dominate the Eagles 42-19. Paul, I'm going to go with you, man. What message did the NFL world receive from the 49ers in that game?
That if the 49ers had a viable starting quarterback and their entire depth chart didn't get injured in the postseason last year, that could have been a completely different outcome. I know Deebo Samuel came out and told him that, hey, if we had a quarterback, that game's a different story. So I know they were playing for something on Sunday, and boy, did they show up, and they showed out big time. Brock Purdy, lights out again. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, everybody's there. And we have the talk every week, and we had a little debate a few weeks back, but by far this is as a collective unit, this is the best put together team I've seen in a very long time. When all their guys are hurt, when all the guys aren't hurt and they have all their pieces, it's literally Russian roulette of who do you want to beat you this week. And for the longest time, it's been someone different every week. And this week it was Deebo Samuel. So, I mean, pick your poison with the 49ers, but if they're playing how they are right now, good luck to whoever's got to play them.
Yeah. John, what's your thoughts about this game and what message did the 49ers send to the NFL world?
Well, I didn't even get to watch it that much. My friend's an Eagles fan, so I just read the group chat, and he just had a long line of text going, all kinds of words and stuff, so I knew he wasn't happy. But from what I looked at, I know the Niners went through a little bit of a rough patch about a month or so ago, but they've been on a hot streak. I guess they have 4 straight wins from what I looked at. And that I saw Purdy's playing MVP level football. He's got 11 touchdowns to the 1 pick and stuff. And then obviously their defense is legit. It's got to be one of the best defenses in the NFL, still one of the best linebacking cores in the country. So it's if the Eagles are the number 2 tier team to challenge them, then they might have a cakewalk through the NFC if they're going to be playing like this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you this, the 49ers got people attention. And as Paul told Elwin Pullett, that if they had a quarterback, then, yeah, this would be a different result. But this is after a slow start. The 49ers scored 6 straight touchdowns on this Philly defense that's been pretty solid all year. It was a chippy game. There was a lot of chirping going back and forth. Dre Greenlaw and the Eagles security director got into it, and Greenlaw ended up getting ejected. So I just let you know how this game was going. But the Eagles haven't allowed 107 rushing yards since the bye week. Well, that changed when the 49ers ran 146 rushing yards on them, led by Christian McCaffrey, who scored a touchdown. And also with him, he joined the ranks of Marshall Faulk and Lenny Moore, the only running backs with 50 rushing touchdowns and 25 rushing TDs. It was just an impressive game by 49ers all around. Just dominate all facets of the game. You expect this game would probably win close because this is who they're projected to represent the NFC. These two teams for now, anything can happen, but right now these are delisted favorites that's supposed to represent them. But boy, man, to go on their field, go in Philly and send a message like that and beat you that bad after I've been on this podcast for the past few. I'm like, Eagles has been kind of figuring these games out. When I'm like, they're gonna be battle tested and they're gonna, because of these close games. But boy, this game was not close. This game was not close at one bit.
It boils down to kind of our criticisms of Philadelphia over the last few weeks, right? So AJ Brown, all world wide receiver, you need 2-3 guys to guard that guy. He catches 114 yards. Devontae Smith, 98 yards and a touchdown. If you look at Jalen Hurts, he threw for 300 yards, no picks. Mm-hmm. I know he got a little bit of an injury there late in the game, but the issue with Philly is Jalen Hurts can't be your leading running back. Like, you're not controlling the clock at all if Jalen Hurts is leading your team in rushing. I mean, DeAndre Swift had 6 carries for 13 yards, and Jalen Hurts had 7 carries for 20 yards. Now, I know they got down and they couldn't really run the ball anyways, but in these kind of games, when you can't control field position, you can't control time of possession, and you're playing a team like San Francisco who can literally score in bunches in a hurry, it's a problem. Obviously, Philly would love to keep the game close because then they can play Philly football and they can find ways to win and make plays when they have to, but they're going to be a team that when they get down, I don't think they have the firepower to get back into the game if they get too far behind. I know they've had a couple of comeback wins this year already, but those were against probably kind of subpar opponents. And the 49ers it's always scary when you have a team that's already elite and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Like, they had this game circled on their calendar immediately after the playoff game last year. And, Jalen Hurts played a game. But like I said, the Niners offense and then that defense only giving up 19 points. If you look at Philly's stats, you'd think they scored more than 19 points, but they really did nothing on the ground. It was all in the air, and then obviously they kept them out of the end zone. But kudos to the Niners, kudos to that defense, kudos to that offense. Good luck whoever has to get in their way, because they're on a mission right now, and I wouldn't want to get in front of that train.
Yeah, man. To me, I just feel like just a running game and a defensive attack will definitely make you be successful in a postseason run like that. And it kind of like Buffalo Bills in a sense, with Josh Allen kind of ran the ball more than he should, and their rushing attack looked kind of like suspect. That now Swift had some big games, but if he plays these type of teams, I mean, I know they got Dallas' number here, but Dallas may compete with them. We'll see that game. That's going to come up in the future between those two. But if he runs the same way that he did against the 49ers, then they're in trouble. So I'm just trying to figure that one out, how they going to go with that. So, but All right. Let's transition to the next topic. Let's talk about the Packers. The Packers have won 3 straight, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 27-19. What are we seeing from Jordan Love during this 3-game win streak? Have you seen the highlights and what you think, John? What's your thoughts about Jordan Love? And he's been getting a lot of flack, but not during this 3-game winning streak.
I don't know if you've seen on my Twitter post, but my dad's a Packers fan. He's from Milwaukee. We have family ties to them, so I've grown up watching the Packers, and something he said to me before the game the other night was, he's like, even with all the stats you see of the similarities between him and Rodgers their rookie year, he's like, the one thing I notice about him the most is he's very calm. He's like Rodgers, he never seems like he's too flustered. He just always seems like he's ready for the moment, and this is the youngest team in the NFL too. So, they just got to get it together. They got a lot of receivers. They've had problems with drops. They're missing their most dynamic player in Jones. And I believe they just signed Kenyon Drake to their practice squad team. So, that might be able to give them a little bit of a dynamic ability between him and A.J. Dillon out of the backfield that they're missing with Jones. But, I mean, their schedule's looking pretty right now. I think they got a couple more big games at Lambeau, too, and that place is always magical this time of year. So, what Aaron Rodgers said a few years ago, RELAX. So Packer Nation's loving it right now. My dad's loving it. He's just enjoying the ride.
Good deal. P-Mac, what you think about Jordan Love and this 3-game winning streak that they're on right now?
It goes back to the two things that you and Kev said last week. Primetime games in Lambeau in December are weird. And the Kansas City Chiefs are weird. They're not the same explosive, dynamic Kansas City Chiefs teams that we've seen, during this stretch that they've had in the last few years. Pacheco's playing great. So they have a running game. They have more of a running game probably than they've had in the last couple of years. But that receiving core outside of Travis Kelce, it's tough to see. I mean, their next best receiver was Rashee Rice. Guy had 8 catches, 64 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had 2 catches for 25 yards. Aside from that, there was nothing there. So, I mean, Kelce got busy early, and then they kind of put the clamps down on him, and the Chiefs were kind of playing from behind the rest of the way. And usually you're used to seeing the Chiefs be very explosive on offense. And I thought for a while, I was like, all right, this is the time. The game's close. They're going to make a play. And, Green Bay seemed like a team that wasn't afraid of Kansas City. They were like, all right, we'll take the field goal. We'll kick it back. We'll play field position. We're not worried about them doing anything crazy. And it's just a well-coached game. And I think, Green Bay is really, especially during this 3-game stretch, they're really handling Jordan Love very well. I know there's been a lot on him and he had a lot on his plate. And I know I've come out and said the guy kind of stinks. Like when he's bad, he's bad. But over these last 3 games against pretty big opponents, I mean, the kids showed up. I mean, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. So if that's not a coming out party for that guy, I don't know what is. But he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in every aspect of the game. I mean, I would have thought Jordan Love would have thrown for 210, 1 touchdown and a pick. Instead, it was Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes threw 210, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was sacked 3 times. He was kind of running for his life out there a little bit. Meanwhile, Jordan Love goes 25 of 36 for 267, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, only gets sacked twice. So it's interesting to see because I know early in the year, the defensive line for Kansas City was getting after the quarterback, and we were giving a lot of praise to those big guys up front and, Chris Jones and all those guys. But if they're not getting to the quarterback, that secondary seems like it's vulnerable. And when you have a big truck like A.J. Dillon in the backfield, it's going to cause problems. Nobody wants to get in front of that guy either. I mean, he averaged 4 yards a carry. It was just really a dominant game by the Packers. I mean, the score doesn't necessarily show that, 27-19. Like, it was still a 1-score game at the end, but Green Bay was just, in that whole fourth quarter, they were just playing field position. We're going to punt. We're going to send them back. We're going to make plays on defense. We're going to manage the clock. We're not going to put our quarterback in a position to make any, bad plays. And, it lucked out. And now Kansas City drops to 8-4, and it's going to make those AFC power rankings very interesting going into week 14.
Yeah. Now, listen, I gotta give Jordan Love a lot of credit. We've been hard on him, and I know it's hard to fill shoes of a legend as Aaron Rodgers did before with Brett Favre. It's just to go back to that, like it's a lot to fill. So credit for him to weathering the storm. As John mentioned, they're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. But his first 2 drives, you can tell that as he was trying to relax and get everything calmed down. The way to beat Pat Mahomes and a Kansas City Chiefs team, you got to dominate time possession. And that's what he did in the first 2 drives. So the first drive, he went 75 yards on 13 plays. That took about 7 minutes and 47 seconds. The other drive on the second drive he went 75 yards on 8 plays and took about 4 minutes and 21 seconds off the clock. Total time, 20 minutes off the clock. Love between those 2 drives was 10 for 11 and 109 and 2 touchdowns. Shout out to him for just slowing down, figuring it out. I know there's a lot of distraction. Aaron Rodgers is a big ego, as he should be. You know, he's well-deserved and one of the best quarterbacks to play this game. So it is a lot to come in and try to fill that with a Packers fan base that is expecting, greatness. Or at least their team is always competitive. So it's just hard for them to do that. But Jordan Love is managing his situation very well. The Packers defense should got a lot too close in the game. As Patrick Mahomes trying to make a run back, they had 2 third-down sacks to neutralize that run. So shout out to them. Kansas City is one of those that remind me of like the Pats with Tom Brady, who has dominant tight end and another tight end that's pretty decent. Running game was solid, but the wideouts is just suspect. You think you just plug anybody in because it's just, you got a great quarterback. But some of these guys just been having problems catching the ball. They've been having problems just trying to run some of these routes and everything like that for Pat Mahomes. So they might want to figure out now before they get into the postseason. They still got a good enough division lead to be a division leader, but some of these other teams that at one point that we thought Kansas City have home field advantage, Miami's coming, Baltimore's coming. This it's getting tough out here, man. So Kansas City better tighten up here before they lose home field advantage here. And Jacksonville probably could have been putting their names in the hat due to a Trevor Lawrence injury that happened last night. Luckily, it's nothing serious. He's day-to-day. He may come back next week, but a lot of these AFC teams are on Kansas City's tail right now. So they need to figure it out fast. And for my sake, I hope they don't figure it out because I'm a Broncos fan and they just need to keep losing. So, but in the journey out, they need to see what's going on and see what they can piece together here. All right, so I'm going to get into this segment here. And then I'm actually going to go because how I want to do this segment is how we're going to assess our team performance. I'm going to go with John last because obviously I know he's going to go over this question here. But Paul, and I think we all going to go the same way, but let's break it down from his perspective from our ends. More impressive victory by the 9-3 team, the Lions or the Dolphins? The Lions beat the Saints 33-28, and the Dolphins beat the Commanders 45-15. So, Mr. Mack,
I'll throw you one better, and it hates me to say this, but what about the Dallas Cowboys? I think that was a huge win by the Dallas Cowboys over Seattle. I mean, Seattle was a team that, they're playing for a playoff spot. That's a loaded offense. And, that game started off that was a shootout from the beginning. And, I was worried about if that game got down to kind of being a shootout, how would Dak Prescott respond? And for like the 3rd week in a row, I mean, guys playing crazy. And I hate to give credit to the Dallas Cowboys, but that was a huge win for them. Coming off of, having Philly lose now too. So now they're a game out of, first place in that division. They're a team now that went from, guaranteed wild card to potentially winning that division, depending on how Philly's season ends. So I think the ramifications of that win were huge for Dallas because they're making the postseason regardless. I just think beating a team like Seattle, just kind of shows that they're here to play. They're here to play against contenders. They're not taking easy wins. Like obviously Miami had the Commanders, and the Lions for some reason like to make games look closer on paper than they probably should have been. I mean, they should have trampled the Saints, and they only won by 5. So for me, my biggest win of the week is easily of the 9-3 teams that are kind of jostling for playoff position is going to go to Dallas Cowboys. I hate to say it, but big win for Dallas. For sure.
I mean, I'm a definitely, and I let John break this down, but it's Dolphins just smacking the Commanders. It's they play the Commanders. I'm not going to really break that down. Hence why I got John on the show to break that down and his Dolphins. But for the most part, I'm going to just break down. Detroit had the impressive start, and they just fizzled out at the end, as Paul mentioned. They started the game out with a 21-0 lead. Then their offense went 3 and out the next 5 possessions, missed out on a red zone opportunity. Defense has been a problem as of late. That game, they gave up 362 yards. I mean, I know Al's out of his zone, was out with a hand injury, but, it's Detroit, listen, you defense can get exposed in the playoffs very fast. And, y'all need to figure it out. And and offenses, too, tend to take a little screeching halt in there as well in the playoffs. So, y'all need some defense to rely on, come back on there. And the running game has been solid for those guys as well, too, but it was just disappointing to see how they had the game like that, and then they just take the foot off the pedal there. But nonetheless, the Dolphins smacking out the Commanders. They did what they did. Their offense is just so fun to watch, man. Like, just a fun offense to watch with the Dolphins. So, John, give us your answer. I already know what it is, but break down your boys.
I'm actually going to say the Lions was more impressive. We're doing the Dolphins. We're doing the same thing we've done. We're beating the teams we're supposed to beat so far. I know Washington got smacked last week by Dallas and stuff. So the most impressive thing about the Dolphins for me right now that's kind of caught my eyes, even though we're playing these teams that we should be beating, and they're definitely a lot weaker, and we just have the offense that they can't compete with. But our defense is playing lights out for me the last few weeks. They're giving up an average of just a little over 10 points a game the last 3 weeks. They're giving me a lot more confidence. Whereas earlier in the season, I wasn't as confident in our defense being able to get stops regularly to where, we turn the ball over or something, can we still win comfortably and stuff? Because before it's Tua turns the ball over, it's like, okay, we got to score 45 to win. I'm feeling a lot more confident knowing, hey, we can probably win a 24-17 game or something. But for Detroit, after that game on Thanksgiving, they could have easily – they're up 21 this game early. They could have easily folded and cracked under pressure. And, a lot of those guys probably haven't been in, this situation where they got to win games and stuff, lock the division down, lock playoff seeding down and stuff. So that's just maturity right there. I love Dan Campbell, what he's doing up there. He was here for half a season, and I just love his energy and stuff, and guys seem to revolve around him. So I got to go with Detroit having the more impressive win just based off of their recent history and stuff and how they're growing.
And I think we forget how explosive Miami was even earlier on in the year when they had Devon A-Chain back. He was back this week. Guy immediately comes off the injured reserve list for over 100 total yards of offense.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns. So, just having that 2-back system with him and Mostert again on top of the weapons they have on the outside with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So now the Dolphins are kind of back at full strength. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Josh McDaniels does now that he has all his pieces back in play. So I'm interested to see the Dolphins kind of play against a contender right now versus how they were the last few weeks, because they were a little one-dimensional. I mean, Mostert's good, but having 2 dynamic running backs who can both catch, who can both spread the field.
Yeah.
It's we forget in that game against Denver, how many touchdowns those backs had by themselves. A-Chain and Mostert had 6 touchdowns.
I'm still having nightmares over that game, by the way.
So but it's just a matter of that. You're used to seeing Tyreek Hill blow up for over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns, but when you can get 3 touchdowns out of your backfield between Mostert and A-Chain, and then Tyreek Hill catches for 2. What are you going to do, man? That's tough. So it'd be interesting to see the Dolphins now that they're healthy again. So luckily those injuries happened earlier in the year, but they played the Commanders, so I'm not gonna. They should win 45-15 against the Commanders, but
Yeah.
It's just cool to see teams getting healthy.
John, what's your outlook on them right now? Well, I mean, now we're going to the segment of breaking our teams down, and I was hoping that was going to be the segue you picking your Dolphins, but the gentleman I know that you are, I knew you was going to do that, you SOB. But go ahead and break down your Dolphins, your outlook for the rest of the year, and give me your 2 cents on your team, man.
So I just looked at the schedule a little while back, and we got the Titans this upcoming Monday night. I'll be at the game. That'll be my first game in a while. So I'm excited to get back down there and go see us play a primetime game. But I know our last 3 are Dallas, at Baltimore, and home again first Buffalo. So that's going to be a tough way to close out, especially being 0-3 against Buffalo. We got smacked. Philadelphia smacked us in Kansas City. Like you guys said earlier, they're a weird team. But they were blowing us out early and stuff, and then they just shut us down late and we couldn't score. But like I said earlier, our defense is making me more confident. Yeah, we lost Jalen Phillips for the rest of the year. Baker got injured the last game. I think he sprained his MCL, so he should be able to return for the postseason. So I have faith in Duke Riley being able to man that spot pretty well. Going to need X and Jalen in that secondary to step it up and stuff, and hopefully a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul can come in and do something. But I'm expecting to win the division outright within the next. Hopefully we can get it locked down in the next 2-3 games. Buffalo loses another one or something, and we can get these 2 wins against Tennessee and New York and come into this last little 3-game stretch, 2 at home, and get the rock rocking and close it out. And the other big thing is our O-line. I know I'm not one. I know we have a lot of Tua supporters in Fins Nation and stuff. I haven't been the biggest Tua supporter. I still don't know if he can be that guy to go and win you a game. But I know when that O-line gives him time to throw the ball, he's deadly accurate. And when you got guys like Hill and Waddle, you can't guard them for that long. So O-line needs to step up the next 5 weeks, keep him clean and stuff. And he's got to make the plays when the time comes. And we'll see what we'll see what happens. But in those big 3 games that we lost, I know he was sacked 10 out of 17 times. He has been this year. So it's all the little things right now for them. Staying healthy, doing the little things right.
Good deal. Paul, your team was on a bye week, so I don't think you have anything to add. So,
hey, I got to say before the show started, we're 2 out of the wild card in the NFC. So, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
But our final stretch, similar to the Dolphins, is tough. We play the Eagles twice in the last 3 weeks of the season. So it is what it is. But I'm here for they have a winnable game next week. So we'll see what happens. But I think we have the Saints this week coming up. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm enjoying not having to deal with the Giants this week. So it's been a good week for me.
Good deal. Paul White probably walked around Lake Eola, enjoyed the time, relaxed himself. He had to watch his team. So nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, of course, on Sunday, the games, especially Broncos games, they're not on TV. I try to listen to them on the radio. So it's kind of killed my vibe a little bit. This is probably the only game I kind of listen to. I watch some of the other games later. But, they lost to the Texans 22-17. And the Texans is a up-and-coming team. C.J. Stroud is as advertised. Went back and watched highlights against this game. And, yeah, he pretty much just dissected us. And Nico Collins killed us as well. Russell Wilson, they try to open up an offense a little bit more. And he's probably didn't have his best statistical game of the season. He kind of had 3 picks and had 1 rushing, one passing touchdown, 186 yards on 26 attempts, 15 completions. But he did get it. Listen, I tell you what I do like about this Bronco team. They're not quitting. They're putting up a fight as opposed to the earlier part of the season. They did put themselves in a position to win the game and try to win the game. Pals was a little bit low. He was trying to go to Sutton, the clutch guy that's just been our go-to guy for the last few weeks, and having this little synergy him and Russell been having. But Jimmy Warren picking it off. And listen, we just called a hot team, man. So now we're looking at our next 3 that we got. We got at the Chargers, at the Lions, and versus the Patriots. So just give me 2 of those 3. You know, I'm not expecting to beat the Lions, but you got a fighting chance against the Chargers, and the Pats they're existing, I guess. I don't know that Zappy or whoever their quarterback is now. Mac Jones, he's been demoted to the bench. I don't know. He's probably making sandwiches up here at Gillette Stadium. I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's not playing quarterback for him.
Cam Newton outside with Colin Kaepernick there.
Exactly. So he's fine for position among. So the Broncos are at least in that wild card spot. We're trying to fight amongst the Steelers, the Browns, the Colts, and the Texans. I know Steelers had an injury, Kenny Pickett. I haven't got more information about his injury. Browns also been having quarterback injuries as well. Colts, another team that's dealt with a quarterback. It's the Texans that's been hot, man. They probably gonna get a wild card spot for sure. So I need 2 of those teams to kind of slip, and we'll see. I think the Colts might make it somehow, but I'm expecting one of the teams. We just got to keep winning on our end to see if we can make a chance around the post, which I didn't think. I will admit, I did not think it was possible like 4 weeks ago. I was so down about my Broncos. I will admit it. I was looking at mock drafts, and if we can't get a quarterback, who we gonna get on defense, all that. So to at least have this conversation with the Broncos is very encouraging. So I didn't expect this at all. So all right. So this is a nice little fun segment that we do here. Player of the week, who is invited to the cookout. How we do this, John? You invite, you pick a player who you thought had, the best week statistically, dominated the game, really impact player, and then what you making them? What's gonna be on the grill for him? Are you gonna cook? What you gonna cook for him? What's gonna be the tasty beverage? All that. So Paul, I want you to go ahead and give him an example of how we do this, man. So who's the player of the week and who's invited to the cookout?
Kevin here, right? Kevin hiding anywhere?
Kevin's not here.
Sorry, Kev, but I'm inviting Jake Browning
to
the cookout.
Kevin is hurt somewhere.
32 of 37 for 354, 1 touchdown, no picks. I mean, I don't know how the hell they got 34 points, but shout out Jake Browning. Joe Mixon showed up too, but man, second career start for that guy. And, just hats off to him. I mean, they kept the playbook very simple for him early on. He was throwing a lot of kind of screens, trying to get Jamar Chase involved early. Ran a little bit with his feet. He had 2 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, he was kind of looking like Trevor Lawrence versus Trevor Lawrence. He was running the ball. He was throwing the ball all over the yard. And it just shows sometimes as long as your quarterback's not giving the ball to the other team, you got a shot. Now, the Bengals needed a win bad, and I know a lot of people wrote him off with Joe Burrow going down for the season, but there's still a lot of playmakers on that team. And if you can put this quarterback in a position where your skill guys can make plays around him, crazier things have happened. But that's a big game against a big, a big team and who's winning their division and is potentially shooting for a first-round bye in the postseason. To kind of go in there with house money and show up the way you did, kudos to Jake Browning.
What you making him?
Jake Browning's the kind of guy that I tell you what, I'm not making him. I'm not giving him any coleslaw.
You missed this segment last week, John. But
no, a game like that coming off, second career start. I mean, he's getting some brisket. He's getting some ribs. He's getting his choice of whatever the hell he wants. He's getting a filet mignon. He can have whatever the hell he wants, man. He's just getting meat. I didn't even give him no vegetables. That man's just straight carnivore. That man's
all protein, huh?
That man's a carnivore. That man's a stone cold killer out there, Jake Browning. He gets all the meat. He can have. He's like a Texas Day Brazil. He can just have the thing on green, and I just keep feeding meat to him all day long. But
pause.
You love to see it. Love to see it.
Just kidding. All right, John, you want to go? You want to give it a shot?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I think I gotta go. I had a couple other guys on my mind, but the games for them weren't as big even though they showed out and stuff. I don't know if you got the same two guys on my list, but so I won't say it. But I'm gonna go with Christian Watson for the Packers. That man's had an up and down career so far for them. Still young, but his big thing's been drops. He's always had the speed and stuff. You know, he's big 6'4". He can do it all when he's got it going. And this year, was it Sunday night? He had 7 catches, 71 yards, 2 big touchdowns. I don't know if you guys saw the catches that he had, but he had a nice toe tap touchdown in the back of the end zone, just helping his quarterback out, helping the team out in a big game to keep them in the playoff picture. And I think that's the most receptions he had this year too, which is 7. So if he can get that going and stuff, he's definitely going to be key for them in their playoff push.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna invite this guy to the barbecue. And there's the thing about me, man. I love revenge games. This is a team you used to play for, and you just show up big. You just show up big as this game. James Conner, 25 carries, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the revenge game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got your replacement and they sent you off. And guess what? You showed up big. Big boy runs, anger on them. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, who is a wild card hopeful, you send them home with an L. So, Mr. Conner, come over, bro. You see Paul's hat? Bust up barbecue. I'm gonna give you some pulled pork. Make sure dip it in some barbecue sauce. I would do the combo with the poke and beans and mac and cheese. No coleslaw. I got ripped on the coleslaw. And then guess what, man? I'm gonna give you some hot flaming Cheetos with that too, my boy. Get some sweet tea on there. Yeah, with the lemon wedge. Oh, come on, man. We in there, bro. And then guess what? We gonna sit on the couch, watch a Wayne brother, bro. Laugh our ass off. So run it. Congratulations, James Conner. Hell of a game. And you deserve it. And I think we all did a great job with our picks. So kudos, guys. Kudos.
I think ribs sound good right now. That's what I'm giving Watson. I'm giving him ribs. Keep those hands sticky, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Yes, sir. Paul, I think I liked this segment last week. I'm going to keep doing it. And this is just dedicated for you, Paul. And if you feel like you want to join in, John, go ahead. But Paul stink meter.
I'm adding some production value this week. So where do we begin? Let's go hop on a plane and let's fly up to New England. I know I picked on it a little bit earlier, but Bailey Zappi. God damn it, he's crappy. 141 yards, no touchdowns, losing 6-0, can't get any points on the board. Is he better than Mac Jones? Who the hell knows? All I know is one thing and one thing only.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's all I know about Bailey Zappi. So Bailey Zappi fucking stinks. Then also on top of that, we're gonna just really make a short little trip from New England, and we're gonna go to New York, where I'm starting to question: was Zach Wilson really that bad? You bring in Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle throws for 148 with a pick, then gets released. He's no longer on the Jets now. You bring in Trevor Siemian. He goes 5 out of 13. He fucking reeks. So, New York Jets quarterback room, I don't know what to tell you, but nothing more than just...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And while we're at it, let's see what else we got here. There's a lot. I mean, there wasn't a ton going on. It's really just those guys. I mean,
were there something this week that bothered you that stink? Do you got something just in your everyday life that just? I mean, I know you wanted a football player, but do you have anything else that just stinked in your life today? Maybe the workload, something going on. What else stink? What else is on Paul's stink meter tonight, bro?
In honor of the New York Knicks playing in the quarterfinals of the NBA in-season tournament, I caught the highlights of yesterday's game, and I hear a lot of people talking about it. And I think it's the fact that the New York Knicks, back in 2020, had the opportunity to draft a Tyrese Halliburton. Instead, he drops to number 12. And with their 8th pick of the 2020 draft, they draft Obi Toppin, who now in 2023 plays on the Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton, who has the number one most efficient offense probably of all time right now, who just knocked out the Boston Celtics. Tyrese Halliburton is doing things that I've never seen before, and I think it just kind of shows you the New York Knicks and how they draft them. And obviously, they're in a good spot now. They got Jalen Brunson doing things, and Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. They got a lot of young pieces, and they're making some moves and they're playing right now. But the 2020 draft, I dug that up before we started while I was at work today, and I was looking at a lot of those picks. And aside from Anthony Edwards at number 1, between Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton at number 12, the amount of people that were picked who were just kind of just living and not really making a difference right now.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
All the GMs that passed up on a Tyrese Halliburton, and the fact that the Sacramento Kings just gave him away to the Pacers for a Sabonis, and they're doing well though. So I mean that trade might work out for both of those guys. But it's otherworldly to see a young talent that is just doing the things that this guy's doing. Now, mind you, the Pacers don't play a lick of defense, but they're fucking exciting to watch on offense. So that's all I got. That's the end of that's what stinks this week.
Awesome, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, well, hey, listen, Tyrese Halliburton hooping. He didn't play too well against the Magic. We just say that out there, but nonetheless, he did play well. But man, that was a great segment there, Paul. I appreciate that, man. That had me rolling, sir. John, did you have anything to add to the stink meter? Or
I was just enjoying the fact that he was roasting the Patriots and the Jets for the first 10 minutes. It felt like I haven't been able to roast the Patriots other than call Tom Brady and Belichick a cheater. So I mean, how are you going to lose 3 games in a row where your defense only gives up 10 points or less? That's yeah. You can hit that button again on that Patriots defense on an offense. I'm enjoying life right now.
There it is. Oh, man. Good stuff. All right, let's transition and let's go into our next topic, what will be our top 5 teams. So we just list off our top 5 teams right now based on the week or however you feel. And I go first. So I think number 1, I think we all going to agree number 1 is going to be the 49ers. This is where it's going to change up a little bit here. 2 is the Cowboys, 3 are the Eagles, 4 is the Ravens, and 5 is the Miami Dolphins is where I'm at. So, Paul, who's your top 5?
Definitely the 49ers at 1. I'll throw just that I want it to be lopsided. I'll put Baltimore at 2. I'll put Philly at 3. I'm going to put Dallas at 4 and Miami at 5.
John, who's your top 5?
I got the Niners at 1 as well as you guys. I think I'm going to put I'm looking at the standings right now a little bit. Ravens 2. I'm going to put my Dolphins at 3.
Okay.
With, like we were talking about earlier, health and everything, that offense is killer. So we're hard to stop. I'm going to put the Eagles at 4. And I'm going to leave the Cowboys out of it. I'm going to put the Lions at 5.
Nice.
They got something brewing up there in Detroit. As much as I hate to say it, my dad's probably going to kill me for this when he watches this later.
It's all good, man. Well, hopefully, it's all good, man. We're just trying to be fair. But I know your dad screw the lines.
Yeah.
All right. Add to the stage. This is KC's weekly picks. And so, John, what we like to do here, you play our OG Kevin Carter. And so we tell your total versus his total. We'll come back to you. We can see if you can beat him based on your football picks. All Kevin's pretty good at this. So no pressure, man. So, Paul, I will let you take over. If you can see the screen or if you want to go off yours.
Let me pull up Kev's picks here.
Awesome. So
all right.
Let me know and we'll get this squared away.
Kev. All right, here we go. All right, Thursday Night Football. Thursday, December 7th. The New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What in the world is this game? Ooh, man. Pats, please do me a favor, but I know y'all won't. Steelers win this game. Unfortunately.
I'll
let the guest go first.
Kenny Pickett's going to be out that game, isn't he? Yeah, he underwent ankle surgery.
Yep. So your starting quarterbacks will be Bailey Zappi versus Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Mitch Trubisky still found a way to win against Zappy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Steelers. As much as I like to see an upset, and as much as I know your Broncos could use another Steelers loss, I can't see the Steelers losing this in Pittsburgh, especially.
I mean, I just don't even think the Patriots are playing for anything anymore. I just think this is just the end of an era. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh, and then Kevin is also taking Pittsburgh.
Okay.
All right. Sunday, the first 1 o'clock. Battle of the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Atlanta Falcons. This division is up for grabs. Most competitive division in all of football right here.
This is the somebody's got to have a division.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's got to have this game apparently. And
sponsored by LinkedIn Jobs.
Bucks win this game. Buccaneers. For me. Who you got, John?
Falcons, just because of Kyle Pitts. Just Kyle Pitts.
There you go.
I don't even think the Falcons know they have Kyle Pitts.
They don't, but neither did the Gators, so.
That's fair. Tampa Bay stinks. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons, and Kev's gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons too. At this point, it's their division to lose, but who knows? Whatever.
Yeah.
Next 1 o'clock, Detroit Lions at Chicago Bears.
Lions. I'm going to Lions.
Same.
Bears probably make it interesting, but
Lions like to play down to their competition sometimes.
They do. That's
the only thing. Like the Lions should win this game easily.
Yeah. But
the way the Lions have been playing, I just feel like Justin Fields can make some plays to potentially blow that game open. So it'd be interesting to see. But I'm gonna roll with Detroit just because I can't pick the Bears. And
please do, because I don't want to play a pissed off Lions team the following week.
No. I'm gonna go Detroit, and then Kevin's also gonna roll with the Detroit Lions as well.
Okay.
Next 1 o'clock, Indianapolis Colts at Cincinnati Bengals.
This would be an interesting game for a wild card spot.
Both teams competing for a wild card spot, believe it or not.
I'm going Bengals.
Browning's at home. He's been on a high. He had a good showing against Jacksonville. Yeah, Bengals can get this game.
Jamar Chase broke out too. Didn't he have like almost 150 yards last night?
Yeah.
Broncos forgot how to guard that guy. Or I said Broncos, the Jags.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, he's always open. He said it himself. He's always open. Just got to throw in the ball.
I think Chase has another big game.
Yeah, I think the Bengals still, even without Joe Burrow, there's still just too many weapons on offense between Joe Mixon and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Just a lot going on for the Colts to handle. So I'm going to take Cincinnati at home. Mm-hmm. Kev is also going to take Cincinnati at home.
Okay.
All right, next. Oh, fuck. Carolina at New Orleans. Someone's got to win.
Oh my God. David Carr is hurt, right?
David Carr is probably on the side of the street somewhere selling candy. Derek Carr is probably because he's always hurt.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr's probably hurt. Derek Carr's hurt. I don't think it matters. I don't think it makes a difference. I hope Jameis Winston plays. It would just make the game interesting. But these are just two coaches probably fighting for a job right now. Well, I know Carolina just fired their coach, so that's the safest coach in the division, the interim one that just got hired.
Saints win this game.
Yeah, Saints all day.
Saints.
Yeah, I'll take New Orleans. They're the better team. All right, next 1:00. Houston Texans at New York Jets. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Jets. Zach Wilson apparently does not want to start anymore. He's fine with his demotion. Tim Boyle's gone. Trevor Siemian stinks. And I think they just signed a guy off the Seattle Seahawks practice squad. So,
and you see Aaron Rodgers rumor about that he's cleared to do football activities again. So there's a lot of distractions with the Jets, man. A lot of distractions with them.
Yeah.
Texans come in here and handle business.
Yeah.
Do the unthinkable, Jets. Go ahead and beat them.
They won't.
It won't happen, though.
Yeah.
They won't.
No, not happening.
They got a better chance of beating us in Miami next week, and that's only because it's a divisional game, and they seem to play us decently well sometimes.
I'm gonna go Houston. Kev's also riding with Houston, just because the Jets absolutely stink. All right, next 1:00. Los Angeles Rams at Baltimore Ravens, coming off a bye.
Ravens do one of them things too that Detroit does. They sit there and play on their competition. It's be a closer game than what we think. Ravens win though.
OBJ's first game against the Rams, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm going with the 4-1-0 Ravens flock. I gotta go with them. M&T Bank on a Sunday. That place will be live. Everybody's still pissed off about the Orioles losing in the playoffs. So any chance they can to scream and hoop and holler up there, they'll do it. I think Ravens win 37-17. I'm going with the blowout.
I'm feeling weird. So Baltimore likes to get out early. I don't think they'll be able to. I think they're still going to kind of be missing Mark Andrews a little bit. I think they're going to really miss that target on third downs. I think this game's going to be a little bit closer than it needs to be. And when it comes down to it, I think Matt Stafford and those young wide receivers are going to make some plays. I'm going to go with the Rams in an upset over the Baltimore Ravens. And then Kev's with me. Me and Kev on the same page. Kev's going Rams also over Baltimore. But I think that's also a bias because he wants Jacksonville to catch him. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. That's definitely good. That's part of it.
All right. 4:05. Minnesota Vikings at Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. The Raiders are crap.
Yeah, they're playing well with Antonio Pierce as their head coach. They lost that game to Kansas City 2 weeks ago, but other than that, they're playing okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a change of pace, but they're losing.
I'm picking the Raiders.
Wow.
It's going to be the battle of the turnovers. I think both teams are going to have 2+ turnovers, so it's going to be whoever has the ball last, and it's going to be a low scoring game.
Josh Dobbs, a rocket scientist, bro. Don't worry about it.
He went to Tennessee. He don't know anything.
Guy's an astrophysicist.
That's okay.
With no eyebrows or anything. He looks like a mannequin. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I'm gonna ride the Josh Dobbs train. Minnesota's kind of rolling. They're in the wild card hunt. We'll see what happens, but I'm gonna take Minnesota. Kev is gonna go Vegas. So me and Cortez on the Minnesota train.
Two Vikings, two Vegas. Okay.
Next 4:05. Seattle Seahawks at 49ers. Sorry, Seattle.
I'm gonna do it. because football is weird like that.
Don't do it.
Football is weird like that. Seattle will upset the 49ers.
In Levi?
They will do it. Football is a weird game, man. And I feel like Seahawks will upset them. Now, I will come on this show and eat a lot of crow if I'm wrong, if it's a blowout. And the 49ers, I say they should beat them. I just feel like it's a weird game that it can go the Seahawks' way. I'm being bold here. And I'm being real bold. And I acknowledge that. But Seahawks is gonna get the upset.
I like that.
We'll check back on me next week, all right?
Oh, brother.
I'm going with the Niners, but I like that Seahawks pick. They play well against the Cowboys. Niners could be right on a very
man.
high train coming in, so you never know. It's a game.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's just
not
weird,
only am I taking the Niners, Brandon Ayuk's gonna have a huge game this week. He's gonna be the guy that goes off. So Brandon Ayuk, he's gonna be the one. Not McCaffrey, not Debo, not Kittle. Brandon Ayuk is gonna have himself a day. It's his turn.
It's his turn.
Everyone else has been having their game.
They rotate.
Brandon,
that's what they do, man. They rotate.
Brandon Ayuk, that defense. I don't know what happened to Geno. I think Geno got hurt a couple plays last week. He missed some time. So I don't know how he's doing, but I mean, DK Metcalf had a hell of a game, but against that Niners defense, I don't see that happening. So I'm taking the Niners. Niners are gonna win big. Kevin also is going San Francisco.
I love it, man.
All right.
And there's only one.
425. Buffalo Bills at Kansas City Chiefs. This could be the Bills' whole season right here.
I picked the Bills to have an upset game for me the last few times.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you know what, the Bills gonna come back. They're gonna come through, man. They're gonna come through. They are arrowhead. Chiefs are pissed off. Chiefs to win this game. Probably the same fashion that they lost the game there in the postseason a few years ago.
Yeah.
Not to add salt wounds to the Bills fan, Bills Mafia. I'm sorry. And John's probably saying he's not, but
I'm going Chiefs by 10.
Okay.
Wow.
Give us that division.
It's your division anyway. Buffalo is fighting for a wild card. This is one of those things where I want to see what Buffalo's made of. Back against the wall. They're kind of written off a little bit. Kansas City coming off a tough loss to the Packers.
Bills had a bye, didn't they?
Yeah. Bills coming off a bye. Chiefs coming off a big loss to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Bills are rested. They're coming off potentially their best offensive game of the year 2 weeks ago when they lost. But I'm going to go Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo over Kansas City. I think Kansas City is reeling, and I think this kind of sets things up, for the rest of the season. If Buffalo could win this and Kansas City drops to, 8-5, see what happens in the AFC. But I'm going to take Buffalo. Kev also going with Buffalo. All right. 425, Denver Broncos at Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim.
Chargers always play is kind of weird, but
Chargers scored 6 points against the Patriots last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the Broncos. Of
course you do.
The Broncos country. Let's ride. Y'all still say that? Or is that kind of dead?
Nah, we still say it.
I haven't seen it as much.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. I missed the Jacksonville Cleveland games. We're gonna go back real quick and hop into that.
Kevin's gonna yell at you. Ooh, I'm just kidding.
I'll take Jacksonville. Even without Trevor Lawrence if he doesn't play.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville too.
No faith in Joe Flacco, huh?
No.
No, I'm gonna go Jacksonville as well. And then Kevin obviously goes Jacksonville. So we'll go back to the Denver Chargers.
To answer your question, John, they do still say it. We're just shocked that we're winning right now.
Yeah.
So we're just on this euphoric high. But yeah, we still say let's ride and Broncos country, and the way he does it, Broncos country, let's ride. So he said it. But nonetheless, yes, Broncos should get this game, even in LA. So
I'm gonna take the Chargers. Sorry, Cortez. I'm gonna go Chargers.
I'm going with the Broncos. Let's ride.
let's ride.
Hey. Kev's also taking Denver there, so I'm the odd man out, but weirder things have happened. Chargers at home, weirder stuff's happened.
Yeah.
Sunday night football. Sunday night football. Philadelphia Eagles at Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, this is gonna be a good game. Oh man.
What are the Eagles made of?
If the Cowboys ever had to make a statement in this game, because they're like the Dolphins, that they need to win the big game, this is it. The Eagles' wounds are open. They may be coming playing pissed off a little bit. How about them Cowboys? I'm gonna go with the Cowboys to win. Tom, don't yell at me. Tom's going. I saw you make that pick, bro. What's up with you? I'm sorry, bro. Y'all lost a big game to the 49ers, man, and lost it big, man. It's just how I feel, bro.
I want to pick the Eagles bouncing back, but just seeing the highlights from this past game against the 49ers, that was a very, very emotional game. And then they got their asses beat left and right in Philly. And now you're coming to Dallas, like you said, they're like us. They're looking for something to prove. This is a prove-it game. Say, hey, we're here. We're legit. I'm going Dallas by 2 touchdowns.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dak Prescott game for the show out.
Dak's rolling. Dak's been rolling the last 4 weeks. It's really hard to pick against him. Like if you look at Dak versus Jalen Hurts and the way that Dallas has won games versus how Philly's won games, I'm taking Dallas at home. Dallas just has all the momentum right now. Philly's reeling a little bit. They finally got a nice shot to the jaw. So we'll see how Philly responds. But I think Dallas is going to win this one, and it's going to make that fight for the number 1 seed in the NFC and especially that division title in the NFC East very, very interesting. So I'm going to take Dallas, and Kev's also taking Dallas. Sorry, Philly. All right, a little Monday night doubleheader.
2 Monday night games? Let's go.
Tennessee Titans at Miami Dolphins. You already know who I'm going with.
Well, I mean, no, Derrick Henry is questionable. Even it didn't matter. It won't matter if he plays. Let's just get out of the way. Dolphins win.
I need my revenge on Will Levis from seeing him terrorize my Gators the last years in Kentucky.
Don't remind me, bro.
I know. I need to see. I need to see the Dolphins win this game by basically what they did to the Commanders this past week, and I need them to do something like that. Especially with me being there in attendance, I got to see that offense and defense kicking on all high cylinders.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way. If Kev was here, Kev would say, "Fuck the Titans."
And that's how he sounds too.
I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins by multiple touchdowns.
And we already know who Kevin picked.
Kev's also taking Miami because he has a vendetta against Tennessee.
Yeah, division rivals. I think they had some kind of vote. I remember the story.
And it's the home of the toothbrush.
Yeah.
Because if it was invented anywhere else, it'd be called the teeth brush. He ain't said that joke in like 8 weeks. So I had to throw it back out there. All right, final game of the week. Green Bay Packers streaking against my New York Football Giants, also off 2 in a row.
Well, somebody's streak's got to end here. And it won't be the Packers streak. So the Packers will get a win here. Sorry, Paul.
Hey, man, it's fine.
DeVito will go back to being where it's sunny in Philadelphia or New York or who you got, John?
That's going to be I'll be at the Dolphins game, but I'm going to have to check in on my dad and my roommate being Packers and Giants fans. But I think my dad's roommate just had surgery on his back, so I know he can't move too much. So I'll just tell him to keep all the pillows away from his face. But I got the Packers in this one. I don't think there'll be any glasses thrown or anything towards each other. But
the only cheese head we're going to see in New York on Monday night is Parmesan cheese for my man Tommy DeVito. Man, Tommy DeVito.
Hey.
Giants win 3 in a row.
That a boy, Paul.
Go
stand
Giants,
on
baby.
business.
That's it.
Stand on business. Hey, he gonna walk out with Drunski with the bell. Hey, I stand on business.
All right, do that DK Metcalf celebration.
it's going to be that between him and
Kev's taking Green Bay. So we got this, Giants. Don't worry about it, babies. We got this.
Nice, man. Good picks, and we'll track them, and we'll see how John does against Mr. KC and go in here. Hey, guys, I got 2 more topics left, and then we'll end this podcast. So the college football playoff is set. We got number 1 Michigan versus number 4 Alabama. Number 2 Washington versus number 3 Texas. The first 2 out is number 5 Florida State versus number 6 Georgia. Thoughts on how it played out for the Final Four, and I'll start with John. What you thoughts on the college football playoff set here? I know we've been seeing a particular team that's been very vocal about missing out. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how they played out. I'm a Gator, so seeing Georgia and FSU both knocked out, it's at least.
Oh, that's a dream. That's beautiful.
It's going to 12 teams next year, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So seeing them knocked out out of the last Final Four is pretty nice. I feel their pain. I'd be just as mad. But obviously this is about ratings. It's about money. If Jordan Travis was healthy, FSU's in there, no doubt. Georgia's probably in there, no doubt, over Alabama, just because you got to have the defending national champs play an undefeated FSU team or undefeated Michigan team. But it's all strictly business with college football right now, and they put the 4 best teams in right now.
Yeah, man. Listen. I know there's a lot of Florida State fans, and I tell you what, listen, if y'all would have handled business in y'all last 2 games, y'all played Florida, and the score is 24-15. And then you go to the ACC Championship, the score is 16-6. I know y'all was on y'all 3rd string quarterback. Y'all would have made more of an impression, and the score would have been a little bit more than what it was, then the decision could have probably been a little bit more tougher to go ahead and get y'all in the top 4. Strength of schedule, you got Alabama with the 5th ranked schedule. I know they keep showing that South Florida screenshot. They was in a dogfight. College football in general like that. You just have games like that. It is what it is. I'm not trying to make a case for them. But as John said, if they would have had Jordan Travis, then you could not have excused them from this game, because Jordan Travis is that type of talent that you want to see on the big-time stage, and rightfully so. Unfortunately, he had a gruesome leg injury. Sucks for the young man. But there was exactly. Like, listen, I know it's a rival between us Gators and FSU. You hope the young man turns out, man. You don't want to see nobody go down like that. It's just unfortunate. But for the most part, the games that y'all had to take advantage of. But on the flip side, Alabama, they was in a nail burner with Auburn, 24-27. Then they beat arguably who most people thought was the number 1 team between them and Michigan. They beat Georgia 27-24. Like, I mean, this is what's hard for us as all fans. Sometimes we have to take a step back and realize, like, okay, what would be more watchable to the public? Do we want Jordan Travis out in that. And we're just and it's speculation. It is pure speculation. Who say Florida State defense can go ahead and give Michigan a run for their money and see what happens? I'd rather see Alabama, who took down Georgia, versus then FSU, who took down Louisville. That's just me. My opinion only worth 2 cents, and I feel like the committee felt the same way. It was in their stipulations about that, and it added at the bullet point saying if a certain star player is missing or a coach is missing, then as a criteria that we can choose another team based on that criteria. To me, it's been great seeing the Florida State fans hooting and hollering, and Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis is writing letters to the CFP committee, and I guess they want to donate $1 million to stuff. It's like, I don't want to get into politics, none of that. I'm not trying to touch that, but come on, man. Come on, man. It's going to 12 teams next year, and you know what? Because it's going to 12 teams next year, these arguments is going to be lessened, because it's like, who freaking cares about the 13 seed team? Really? We're arguing about the 13 team? Now, the 15, yeah, it's an argument there, but everybody like, oh, it's going to be this. No, it's not. It's okay, yeah, you may have some conference that may have more teams in there. That's the only thing you're going to argue, but at the end of the day, like, come on, bro. Like, nobody want to sit there and argue over the 13 seed, really? Unless you're the fan of the team, you're the only one that should be arguing. But we're having this whole national outcry about the 13 team. Bro, get a life. Get a life. Paul, you want to add to this, or?
I missed the BCS, man. It
You
was much
down with the
easier.
2 teams?
It was much easier. We were blaming computers for everything, and it's like, oh, BCS stinks. But like, I mean,
I robot. Like, what did I do, man?
yeah. At the end of the day, the teams that are in there are going to give you the most competitive matchups you're going to get. I mean, again, Jordan Travis is healthy. Different ball game, but he's not, and FSU as is without Jordan Travis. It's unfortunate, but hey, FSU can just do like the Central Florida Knights did a couple years ago and just claim themselves champions. They went undefeated. They're the champs. Hang a banner in the stadium. It is what it is, but you know, let's see what happens. Yeah, there it is.
So if they do that, we're gonna clown their asses.
Oh, yes, to the end of time. To the end of time. Let y'all claim a fake national championship, Florida State. I dare you. I dare you.
They can cut all the grass out of the swamp all they want and do that sod cemetery and everything.
Honestly, it's something. It's something Ron DeSantis would probably do.
Sounds about right. All right, our last topic, the in-season tournament. Right now, we have Monday night. You had the Pacers over the Celtics, 122-112. The Pelicans over the Kings, 122-1. Wow, I did a typo there. I did 1777. So the Pelicans won. That's why I can remember. So I had to score there, but I guess I did a typo. This was me typing stuff in the morning, guys. I had a couple of Tito's, so to blame the Tito's, okay? Tonight we have the Knicks and the Bucks, and right now the Bucks are up, but they be playing the winner out of the Pacers, and then the Suns and the Lakers is playing the winner out. Will determine out of those 2 teams who will play the Pelicans. Paul, who you got to win this whole thing? What team you looking at? I know you've been big on one team, so I think you're gonna go that way. Who you got to win the whole thing?
If Milwaukee's playing how they are right now, it'd be tough to bet against Milwaukee, but I still feel like the Pacers kind of throw a wrench into a lot of the way these teams play. Like, their pace is crazy. And honestly, I like the idea of what these in-season tournaments can do. Like, I know Milwaukee doesn't give 2 shits about the in-season tournament. They're playing the long game. They're going to be, you know, they're making their way to hopefully play the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, where everybody's got them. And I just think the Tyrese Halliburton coming out party is still a thing, and I think he's got a lot to play for. And the Pacers right now, they believe in this in-season tournament. Like, they're starting a hashtag on X called Boom Baby. They're rolling.
Yeah.
And you know, the Pelicans, for whatever reason, they're playing really well against good teams. So their record against good teams is better than their record overall. Like they've beaten the Nuggets this year. They've beaten the Kings. They've beaten a lot of really good teams. I know this because I've bet against them against good teams, and they beat me every goddamn time. But I think Phoenix is still trying to figure it out. They're getting healthy. Lakers are the Lakers. I mean, I just think the Lakers would have a hard time if they went against a team like Indiana with that pace of play. So I'm around with the Pacers. I'm gonna go with the Pacers, and I think that something like this could really like carry their momentum into the kind of the All-Star break and see what happens. But Tyrese Halliburton is playing otherworldly right now. I know I mentioned him earlier, but just to give you some perspective, this guy splits. He's shooting 52% from the field, shooting 45% from three, 88% from the line. He's averaging 27 points a game, 12 assists, and only 2 turnovers.
He's having a hell of a year, man.
This is play that we haven't seen in a long time. I think he's the third. I think they say he's the third player like ever through 17 games to have over 450 points and over 200 assists. And like James Harden was one of the other ones a few years back, but it's just crazy to watch. And if you play fantasy basketball and you pick Tyrese Halliburton, congratulations to you. But
good moves.
While the season's early, their pace is great. It's not going to be sustainable the whole entire year. So while the season's still young, I'm enjoying them run up and down and score 140 points a game. But they give up about 130. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm around with the Pacers.
Okay. John, who you got?
I think it's either going to be the Bucks or the Pacers based off of their offense, and I'm going to go with the Bucks just because I'm looking at the Pacers' schedule. Both of them could score. I mean, like Paul was saying, Halliburton's playing out of this world right now, but I'm looking at the last time that they played each other, which was shown it looked like game 9 and 10 for both teams, and Pacers won that one 126 to 120. I think that was the game where Giannis had 50 points and they still lost, but they didn't have it. Lillard didn't play, so I think Damian Lillard makes the difference in this game this time. And the next stage, is that going to be in Milwaukee? Because I'm going to guess Milwaukee.
In Vegas. They're in Vegas.
It's in
They're in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, they're in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a neutral site. I still got the Bucks winning. I got the Bucks winning it all.
All right. So it's going to be probably, I'm going to Pacers and the Pelicans in the championship. I think those two will face each other. It'd be good for the league, get that young talent on national TV, and definitely for the Pacers. I know Pelicans had a lot of games, but Zion has not been particularly healthy, but the Pelicans still got a good team enough. But I'm going to tell you what I like about this setup here before I pick my pick. So Thursday semifinal games start at 5 p.m. And then Saturday games, they got the championship game is at 8:30 p.m. So a lot of what I heard on Twitter, like, well, what are they doing now? Football's on, everything like that. And I'm like, okay, well, listen. I said for the most part, they're trying to increase engagement because what I have heard from a lot of just casual basketball fans is that basketball season don't start until Christmas or basketball season don't start until All-Star break. This helped actually increase that engagement. So to throw the little nugget out here for you guys, when they play this championship game on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is what else is on sports-wise. That could be pretty big. They got some bowl games. So listen, on this point, I want to give Adam Silver definitely more credit, or whoever's part of this team. This was brilliant, by the way, where they did this. Looking at the championship game. So here's the bowl games. They got a 7-5 UCLA and 8-5 Boise State at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
They have a California and Texas Tech, which both teams are 6-6 at 9:15 p.m. I think a lot of people's going to be tuning in and watching that basketball game, especially if the Lakers make it.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine the Lakers and the Celtics would have made this first-time tournament. That viewing recordship could have break numbers. So the chance that he took with that, the NBA did, was brilliant here. This is brilliant right here. because unless you're a fan of those teams, you'll probably tune in and watch a little bit of football games, but a potential to watch LeBron James, Zion Williamson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant possibly. I would take chances every time if I was them. Brilliant on their part. Who will win? I got the Pelicans winning the whole thing. Brandon Ingram is a monster. Dude's taking off. Finally, I know we hear about Zion, but man, it'd be good to see Brandon Ingram get some shine. And just that team in general, man. Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, Grand Theft Auto. They should just call him now GTA 6 now that is dropping here soon. GTA 6. He should change his number to 6. But nonetheless, marketing ploy what they did here, fantastic. I don't think nobody watch these football games unless you're a fan of the team.
I love the small market aspect right now. Milwaukee's a small market, but they got Giannis and Dame, so they're not really small market. But you got Pacers and the Pelicans and who played the Kings and stuff. So if the Pacers, Bucks, or Pelicans win it all, I'll be ecstatic because that's just. I know we get in on Twitter with a bunch of people and stuff for the other teams, Magic and these, who would you rather have and stuff. But it's fun seeing these young guys play that actually look like they want to play and they're having fun playing and stuff. And it's just, I see people say like, oh, I'd rather watch KD and LeBron. I'm like, yeah, you'll get that still. But watch these young guys, watch how these young teams play and stuff. And it's fun to watch them get up and down and stuff, especially the fans too. It just means more.
Absolutely, man. And engagement has been fantastic already. It's been, as John mentioned, trash talking, and it's Magic Twitter versus Eddie House. They brought up that tweet that he said,
Hold on, let me go grab my Ray Ralston jersey out of my closet.
So, nonetheless, I think it was a good, successful far. And I was like, hey, you gotta try something new. I'm not mad at it, and I think so far, besides the whole ridiculous court schemes, I think it's definitely a well-done job by the NBA, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. The only thing they need to change though, because you knew what you had to get to make the tournament, I propose a point system where you win a point per quarter one, and 3 points for the game one, and if you split the quarter, then if you tie the quarter, you split the point. Overtime is free basketball, right? Yeah. So no points in overtime, and you just accumulate the points there. And how I had it for my chart that I had created, the Magic would have won Group C. But they just got to make a couple changes to it. But man, so far I enjoyed the heck out of it, man, for sure.
We just got to respect the game and the players, unlike Boston.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, anything else before we close this bad boy up?
The NBA Finals, they better have that trophy on that center court logo if they're going to do it with this tournament.
And they better bring back these courts for the NBA Finals too. These courts are wild.
They're out there, man. Just hopefully the Bulls or the Heat don't make it. The red is so freaking brown in the court.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Pacers got a cool ass light blue color scheme on their court. I don't know.
The Magic is easy on the eyes too. It's just more of that gray and then a dark blue in the middle. That's easy on the eyes. So, but
I want to see, and I heard somebody talking about this online. I don't really like the jerseys that the home teams wear. I wish so the NBA should let every team's fans vote on a jersey from all time. And then that should be the special jersey that they wear for these special games. Kind of the icon jersey or whatever. Yeah. But a lot of these city jerseys are god awful.
I'm not mad at that idea at all. Give it a shot for sure.
Some of those all-time jerseys are just great, man. Just some of those classic, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. All right, guys, make sure y'all stay tuned for me and Paul. We do this podcast every week. Always fun to have a guest on. Before we get into our information, I'm gonna let John give his socials, what his Twitter name is, so y'all can holler at him. John, talk to the people. What's your social, man?
I gotta look it up. I don't even know it.
He been tweeting so long, he forgot it. So hey,
yeah. Well, my Twitter's at Jonathan JONATHAN. _Z89. Wasn't born in 89. Just put that because of the Magic's inaugural season. Y'all want to follow me on there and stuff, holler at me and stuff. Instagram's the same thing and stuff. That's where I'm most vocal and stuff, but I love talking sports on Twitter and stuff. So, or I guess X now. So yeah, holler at me there and let's talk. Awesome. But if you're an FSU fan or something else, be prepared
Kick
for
rocks.
Kick rocks. All right, Paul.
Yeah, man. You can catch me on X at _Paul_Mac. On Instagram, ThePaulMac520. I think I'm gonna start doing some fun stuff. I might start doing some streaming online and me and my buddies playing some games. So I'll be on Twitch and all that stuff at ThePaulMac as well. I'll probably share some of that stuff if that ever gets going. But we're just having fun, man. Holiday season, just trying to stay busy, stay active. So there you go.
Awesome. And you can find me at _CP on Twitter. I hate calling it X. I don't know why you get used to that. I never get used to that. So, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, you can follow the podcast page at BLC Podcast on X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram and TikTok with the same username, BLC Podcast. You can also get us on Facebook, type in Balls on Court Podcast there. Give us a like, shout, comment there. If you want to get us on Spotify, it's anchor.fm Cortez-Paul. You can get us at endofmindcp.podomatic.com, which doesn't exist anymore. I'm reading off a script. And if you want to donate to the podcast, you can buymeacoffee.com. Give us a shot there. Or Paul, you want to do the thing?
Or wherever you've listened to us before, listen to us there again. We're everywhere. My man Cortez does a great job of making sure we're on every platform. So y'all got no excuses to why you ain't listening. You got no damn reason. None.
Absolutely. Well, hey, speaking for John Z, Paul Matt, Cortez Paul, this is Ball Not Court Podcast. We'd like to thank you guys for listening and enjoy your evening. Take care, guys.